I always thought I understood my husband better than anyone else in the world. 7 years of marriage gives you that illusion. You believe you know the rhythm of their breathing, the meaning behind their silence, the weight of their smiles. You believe love gives you access to the truth. I was wrong. Adam was never loud, never dramatic. He didn't fight, he didn't yell. When we disagreed, he withdrew, choosing calm over conflict. At first, I admired that about him. I thought I had married a man who respected peace. Over time, I realized he didn't avoid conflict, he avoided honesty. The first thing that changed was his touch. Not suddenly, slowly, almost politely. He stopped reaching for me at night. When I leaned into him, his body stiffened for just a second before relaxing again. That second stayed with me. His kisses became brief, placed on my forehead or cheek like a gesture instead of desire. I told myself this was normal. Marriage settles, passion fades. Everyone says that. But love doesn't disappear quietly, without leaving questions behind. I started noticing how often he stayed up late on his phone, how he angled the screen away from me, how he smiled at messages he never shared. When I asked who he was talking to, he said just friends. He always said it casually, as if the answer wasn't worth my curiosity. Some nights I would lie awake listening to him breathe, wondering how two people could share a bed and still feel miles apart. I began questioning myself. Was I not attractive anymore? Was I boring? Was I asking for too much? One night, I finally asked him directly if he was still attracted to me. He smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "Of course." That forehead kiss felt like a goodbye. The day everything shattered didn't feel important at first. My meeting ended early, and for a moment I felt excited. I imagined surprising him. Maybe we'd talk. Maybe we'd fix whatever had been breaking between us. When I unlocked the door, the apartment smelled different. Not dirty, not bad, just unfamiliar. A scent I couldn't place. Something sharp, masculine, and not his usual cologne. I noticed the shoes near the door immediately. Men's shoes, larger than Adam's, newer. My heart slowed instead of racing. It was as if my body had already accepted something my mind was still fighting. Then I heard laughter. A man's voice. Not loud, not hidden, comfortable. I stood frozen in the hallway, keys slipping from my hand and hitting the floor with a sound that felt too loud. The laughter stopped. Footsteps. The bedroom door opened. Adam stood there, half-dressed, his face drained of color. Behind him, sitting on our bed like he belonged there, was another man, older than me, calm, confident, wearing Adam's watch. The watch I gave him, because I wanted him to think of me every time he checked the time. No one spoke. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. My mind detached from my body like it was watching someone else's life fall apart. The only words that came out of my mouth were, "How long?" Adam looked at the floor. That silence told me everything. The man stood up, picked up his jacket, and walked past me without saying a word. He didn't apologize. He didn't look ashamed. The door closed softly behind him, as if this wasn't the most devastating moment of my life. Adam collapsed onto the bed and started crying. Not quietly, not controlled. He sobbed like a child who had finally been caught. He kept saying my name. I asked him if he was gay. He said no. I asked if he was bisexual. He hesitated, then whispered, "I don't know." That hesitation cut deeper than any confession. He told me it started as friendship, late-night conversations, feeling understood, feeling safe. He said he loved me but felt incomplete, like a part of him had always been hidden, even from himself. I listened without interrupting, feeling like my entire marriage was being rewritten in front of me. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't ask why I wasn't enough. That night, I packed a bag and left. I didn't tell him where I was going. I didn't promise to come back. I walked out carrying 7 years of marriage in a single suitcase. At my sister's house, I finally broke. I cried until my chest hurt and my eyes burned. She asked questions I couldn't answer. All I knew was that my husband hadn't just cheated, he had lived a life I was never allowed to see. People had opinions. They always do. Some told me to be supportive. Some said he was just confused. Some said at least it wasn't another woman. As if betrayal changes shape based on gender. Weeks passed. Adam texted constantly. Apologies, explanations, confessions, messages filled with guilt and fear. He said he hated himself. He said he never meant to hurt me. He said he loved me. I didn't respond. One night, unable to sleep, I opened his laptop. I told myself I was looking for closure. What I found destroyed whatever hope I had left. Dating profiles, messages going back years, men he met while claiming to work late, trips that were never about work, forums where he discussed his secret life openly while I slept beside him every night. He hadn't cheated once. He had lived a double life. I realized then that I wasn't his partner. I was his disguise. And something inside me hardened. When I finally replied to Adam, my messages were calm, almost kind. I told him I needed time, that I was processing everything, that maybe one day we could talk properly. Hope is dangerous. I let him hold on to it. A month later, I returned to the apartment for what I called closure. The space felt unfamiliar, like a place I used to live in another lifetime. He had changed small things, new detergent, different food, a different routine, evidence that he was already learning how to exist without me. Adam cried when he saw me. He held my hands like he was afraid I'd disappear if he let go. He apologized again and again. He said he had ended everything. He said he wanted to live honestly now. I listened. I asked him questions, gentle ones, let him confess everything. I watched relief wash over his face as he spoke, mistaking honesty for forgiveness. Then I asked him one final question. Did you ever love him more than me? He paused. Just a second. But that second shattered whatever was left of us. I stood up, thanked him for his honesty, and walked out. I should have been done then. But healing didn't erase the anger, and silence didn't mean I owed him protection. I gathered facts, not lies, not revenge fantasies, just truth, expense reports, emails, dates that didn't match, company policies he violated while living his secret life. I sent one anonymous email to his workplace. Nothing emotional, nothing personal. Just information. The consequences weren't mine to control. He lost his job. Then came the family conversations, the explanations, the disappointment, not because of who he loved, but because of how deeply he lied. The man who tried to live between two worlds ended up belonging to neither. His final message came late one night. I wish you had given me a chance. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. I wish you had given me the truth. Then I blocked him. Healing wasn't beautiful. It was messy. Some nights I still woke up reaching for someone who wasn't there. Some days I hated him. Some days I hated myself for trusting so deeply. But slowly, I rebuilt my life. Not as someone's wife, not as someone's cover story, but as a woman who chose herself when everything else collapsed. Love didn't destroy me. Lies did. And walking away saved me.